If we ask ourselves this question, what makes us Pauline? What are some of the ideas that would immediately come into your mind? As postulants, as students or candidates who have lived in the congregation perhaps for 2 years or 3 years or more than 3 years, you may have some idea. What is it? What is the characteristic element of a Pauline? What is the idea that comes into your mind immediately? There could be more than one idea.
Because God chose us to be a sinful living today.
Once again, not very clear to me.
Because Jesus has called us to be a Saint Paul living today.
Saint Paul living today. Okay. Any other?
The Pauline charism and the spirituality.
We have a spirituality, yes. Okay. Okay, now. When we think of our congregation, our Pauline family, and also the other congregations, we can come across many elements which are similar. For example, there is a founder, there is a spiritual experience of the founder, there may be mission, there is an element of belonging to the church, there is public vows, everything. But these are not, in fact, distinguishing marks of the Pauline family. We have a founder. Similarly, the other congregations, they have founders. We cannot just say we are unique because James Alberione is our founder. Can we say? I don't think so. We are unique because James Alberione is our founder. Or we are unique because founder had a spiritual experience, that famous night about which we were talking. We cannot say we are unique because we have the 3 vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So these are all common elements in, and we can find many common elements in the Pauline family and also the other congregations. And therefore this question, the topic, what makes us Pauline, is interesting. It makes us to also think. It also makes us to live that unique identity as Pauline family. Now another question, since you are postulants, how can you, what is the unique mark of a Christian?
Love one another.
Love one another. Who is answering that? So they are postulants from Vijayawada. I was with them till yesterday. So at this moment, I am in Mumbai. I just reached Mumbai this morning. So I am in quarantine without talking to anyone. Okay, so he has said that the Christian identity or Christian uniqueness is love for one another. By this you will know that you are my disciples. That is Christian identity. Unique mark of a Pauline, as insisted by our founder, is Paulineness, or another word for that is Pauline color. Alberione used to use 2 words, Paulinita in Italian or colore Paulino. Paulinita, colore Paulino. So these are the 2 marks, or this is the mark, unique mark that identifies a Pauline, no matter whether you belong to the Society of St. Paul or Daughters of St. Paul or Pious Disciples. Okay, yesterday you had a class on Pauline family. Is it not true? Can you answer me? Yes. So Sister Shalini gave you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So yesterday Sister Shalini. Okay, Sister Shalini gave you an introduction about the Pauline family, the congregations and institutes and so on. So we have how many congregations? Congregations. In the Pauline family, how many congregations are there? There are 5 congregations.
5.
And
Institution.
4 institutes aggregated to the Society of St. Paul. Not that they are 5 secular institutes, but institutes aggregated to the Society of St. Paul. And finally, we have 1 association of Pauline cooperators. Okay. Now, after having said this introduction, now I want to get into the heart of the matter. The first point that identifies as Pauline, the unique mark, that is our identity as family. Our identity as family. I'll try once again to present the PowerPoint. If it comes, well and good. No, it is.
Now it came, Father.
Now you can see?
Yes,
Okay.
Father. Good, Father.
So this is Pauline family. For James Alberion is the founder of the Pauline family, which consists of 5 religious congregations, 4 institutes of secular life aggregated to the Society of St. Paul, and 1 association of Pauline cooperators. And now this is it. This is what we are supposed to deal with. That is our identity as a family. Maybe you can just jot down the 5 points mentioned there. The autonomy, but family. Pauline family is willed by God. Foundation as a family. Unity like an immense parish. And specificity in the approval of the Pauline family. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, Father.
Okay. So in that we have seen the first point is autonomy but family. What does that mean? We have different congregations. We have different institutes. Most of these institutions, they have their own government. They have their own autonomy. They have their own administration, and so on. But our specific identity is that of belonging to a family. I repeat, we have independent or autonomous government, administration, constitutions, and so on. But our specific identity is that of belonging to a family. Okay? So you cannot say that I am a member of the Daughters of St. Paul or Pious Disciples. You can say, but as a daughter of St. Paul and as a pious disciple, you have existence because you belong to a Because you belong to a family. Because you belong to a family. Okay. Now again, the second point was the Pauline family was willed by God. Not each part is willed by God. The Pauline family is willed by God. This is something that is affirmed repeatedly by our founder. The Pauline family is willed by God. Alberione would say that every part of the Pauline family, it was carried out in obedience to God, obedience to the spiritual director, obedience to the church authorities, and so on. And he also would say that if the Lord were to find out someone more incapable than Alberione, the Lord would have chosen him. You get my point? If the Lord were to find someone less capable than Alberione, the Lord would have chosen him to found the Pauline family. That is a sign that it is willed by God. And it is willed by God means the Pauline family is willed by God. And founder all through his life would say that there are innumerable signs, innumerable events in order to show that Pauline family is willed by God. Once, Alberione called the youngsters, I am speaking about the beginning of the Pauline family. He called the small ones in formation and asked them to pray to Saint Joseph. And then he called one of them, that is, his name was Davide Cordero. He asked this boy to go on the way. He also mentioned the way. The way was Via della Moreta, to be precise. No? So, founder asked Davide Cordero, go to this via. Via means way. Look for a cow. Look for a cow because we need a cow. The Pauline family needs a cow. And therefore, this boy, with lots of hesitation, is going in search of a cow. And as he was going this way, he found a man who was who was leading a cow with a rope in his hand. And this little boy, with hesitation, first looked at the cow. He looked at the man who was taking the cow. You can imagine the show. No? The little boy looking at the cow, looking at the man. And then this man asked this boy, what is it that you are looking for? Where are you going? Then this boy told him, the theologian sent me to look for a cow. You know who is theologian? Theologian is Alberione. He was known in those days as theologian. So the young boy said, the theologian told me to go in search of a cow. And immediately the man handed over the rope of the cow to this boy and said, take this and go. Now, just to give an instance or an event to show that Pauline family was willed by God. This is something narrated by Alberione himself. And this is retold by one of our members who lived in India, one of our Italian members who lived in India, Mauro Ferrero. Some of the senior members know him, who passed away. So he, in his book called Alberione che sorride. Alberione che sorride means Alberione who smiles. In that book, he has mentioned this event of search for the cow. Okay, it is only to indicate that Pauline family is willed by God. Again, now, we are on the same point, that is our identity as a family. When speaking to the pastoral assistants, who are the pastoral assistants? The sisters of the Good Shepherd. and he was speaking on the 40th anniversary of the Pauline family. I say 40th anniversary of the Pauline family. He said, about 40 years ago, the Pauline family was born, which means already in the mind of the founder, the idea of the gradual birth of the Pauline family was there. It is true that the daughters of St. Paul was not existing. It is true that the pious disciples were not existing. In spite of that, Alberione has said the Pauline family was born 40 years ago or 47 years ago, because in the mind of the founder, the family was existing. Every foundation, may it be Society of St. Paul, may it be Daughters, may it be Pious Disciple, every foundation was thought of as a converging, as a complementing, and as a dynamic element of the Pauline family. Okay, I repeat, remember this. Every foundation was considered to be a converging, complementing, and dynamic element in a family. And therefore, the most important point that belonging to a family or belonging to the family is a charismatic or immutable element of our charism. This I have mentioned once. This is an immutable element of our charism. Perhaps the Society of St. Paul Apostolans have learned the charism of the founder, the charism of the congregation. Similarly, the daughters and pious, you have learned the charism of your own congregation. But I say that belonging to a family is an immutable element of our charism. You can belong to a particular family, a particular congregation, yes. You can carry out a specific apostolate of your congregation, but belonging to the family, that is, relationship is immutable element. Relationship, that is belonging to the family. And then going still further, another point that I had mentioned in the PowerPoint was there is unity. There is unity among the members of the Pauline family, like a parish. Founder would say an immense parish. In the parish, there is the parish priest, there may be the assistant parish priest, there may be the choir, there may be different groups, different associations, catechists, and so on. But everyone working towards one goal, converging goal. Not everyone working separately, independently. The parish priest is taking care of his part. Of course, each one has to take care of his own part, but in unity. So similarly, in the Pauline family, there has to be this unity, like an immense parish. I do not know if that unity is existing. It is supposed to be existing because it was willed by whom?
God.
Not willed by God. Of course, it is willed by God, but more specifically willed by whom? Alberione. He wanted that there is unity in the apostolate. There is mutual love and understanding. And in this, the firstborn will play a major part. Who is the firstborn?
Society of St. Paul.
The Society of St. Paul. That is, in order to keep up this Pauline spirit, in order to keep up this family spirit, in order to keep up this mutual love and understanding and unity in the apostolate, we have to take, that is the Society of St. Paul being the firstborn. It is not something of superiority and so on, okay? But it is the firstborn playing a major part in order to take care of these aspects. Okay. And then coming to the final point, that is our identity as a family, Alberione also said there is a specificity in the approval of the Pauline family. That is also a uniqueness. It may not pertain exactly to our identity as a family, but a uniqueness. Have you Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. See, there may be some technical problems in between because we are dealing with the internet and computers and so on. It's okay. Okay. You may have heard about the approval. How is the usual process of approval of a congregation? Okay. First, there is a diocesan approval. Then there is a pontifical approval. You understand me?
Yes, Father.
Okay. Alberione says that considering the unique nature of the Pauline family and unique apostolate, the Sacred Congregation for Religious. The Sacred Congregation for Religious is a congregation or a group under the Holy See, which is taking care of the approval and disapproval of a congregation, a new congregation. Since postulants I am just explaining, okay? So, when Alberione presented his institute for the approval, the Sacred Congregation for Religious, seeing the unique, or I would say strange nature of the family, unique apostolate, they passed on everything to whom? To the Pope. So this is what Alberione said. Okay. Now you can read it. You can read it in the book Ut Perfectus Ut Homo Dei. That is what is that? Part of the Opera Omnia. Ut Perfectus Ut Homo Dei, which you will come to know later on. In that book, in the first volume, number 18, he speaks about that. Okay. So he says the usual way of getting the approval, diocesan approval, is that, of course, it is presented to the bishop. Bishop will present it to the Sacred Congregation for Religious, and they, examining every detail, will give a go-ahead to the bishop, and it is approved as a congregation or an institute at the diocesan level. But in the case of the Pauline family, Alberione says that it was all presented to the Pope, and therefore the Pauline family is issued from the Holy See or by the Pope. This is another uniqueness which Alberione himself has pointed out about the Pauline family. Okay? And therefore, the first point, what is the uniqueness of the Pauline family? What makes us Paulines? One single word, one word that we have spoken so far. What is that? Postulants. Once again, I can't hear you. One person tell. Not clear to me. Somebody else? The point that is explained is
Holiness of Pauline color.
yeah. Okay. The first aspect of Paulinita, what is that? The first aspect of Pauline color, what is that we have seen already? belonging to
One family.
belonging to one family. So that is what I have explained so far. Our identity as belonging to a family, not to a particular congregation. Okay, you belong to a particular congregation, but belonging to the family, that is Pauline family, is an immutable element of our charism. We belong to the family or we do not belong anywhere. Okay, either we belong to the family or we do not belong anywhere. So that is it. Any question? Anybody has any question? Otherwise, we'll go to the next.
Excuse me, Father.
Yes.
Please explain again about the autonomy of a family. Autonomy of a family.
Please explain once again.
Autonomy by family. We did not understand. Please, can you explain again, Father?
That is something very simple. How many are you in your group?
4.
4 of you.
Yes, Father.
Okay. Coming from which are the places?
From Meghalaya, Manipur, and Orissa.
Now, where do you find yourself?
We found Calicut.
Calicut.
Yeah.
It is not very far from my place. Okay.
Very near, Father.
I am very close to Calicut.
Yes.
You may have heard of a name called Pullirampara.
Yes, Father.
So I am from there. That place is very famous because I am from there. Okay. So to speak about fraternity, I am saying you are 4 of you and perhaps coming from different places. But among you, there is unity. There is love. There is sharing. There is understanding. There is communication. There is sacrifice made in order to make sure that the group is going on well and there isn't much tension, and the duty that is entrusted to you, you can carry out well, and so on. Is it true? Is it true? Okay, I think your microphone is in silent mode. It's okay. Similarly, similarly, in the Pauline family, we can have the family spirit. That is, there can be a communication. There can be sharing of a particular mission. There can be sharing, coming together for a particular occasion. There can be, a kind of collaboration in the apostolate, as we had it in the beginning. You know what founder used to envisage in the beginning? See, the Society of St. Paul, they used to print books, and who are the ones distributing these books?
Daughters.
Daughters of St. Paul. And how they were distributing books?
Through walking.
Walking, by cycle, going everywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there was a cooperation and collaboration. And Alberione wanted that every congregation, every institute, they cooperate in this aspect of the apostolate. And he wanted that this fraternity, this connection, this relationship will continue forever because we belong to a family. So that is something simple. It is a kind of, it is a relationship that should exist in the family. Okay?
Yes, Father. Thank you, Father.
Welcome. Okay. The second point that I would like to deal with is that of formation, the specificity or uniqueness as Paulines. The first one is belonging to the family. I repeat that our belonging to the family is an immutable element of our charism. Okay, all of us belong to the same family. That is our identity. Now, the second aspect is that of formation. In what way formation in the Pauline family is unique? See, every congregation has formation. We speak about Jesuits, we can speak about Carmelites, we can speak about Benedictines, and so on. In every family, there is formation. But in what way Pauline formation is unique? And our formation makes us unique. So here, speaking about the formation, Alberione would say, our formation is not something generic. It is not something general, but it is something specific. It is specific Pauline formation. Speaking about formation, Alberione used to speak about the need for formation, the scope for formation, different stages of formation, the master or mistress of formation. He used to speak about the preparation for vestation, that is first profession, how one is allowed to make the vestation, and in what vocation, what are the reasons that person, candidate, should be dismissed. So he speaks a lot about formation. But one thing that he insisted is that of integral formation. The word that is most important in Pauline formation, which makes us unique, is integrality or integral formation. One of the words very, very close to the heart of Alberione was integrality, totality, completeness. So in the thought of the founder, integrality or integral formation would mean equilibrium, balance. It would mean harmonious growth of everything. I give different words, that is integrality, equilibrium, balance, harmonious growth of everything. In the words of Alberione, I repeat his own words, he would say, the master cares for integrality, that is spiritual, intellectual, apostolic, human, and religious formation. We see it like Jesus among the apostles. Okay, now I have given different words for integrality. What are those words? At least one mic could be on. Okay. I believe you have given me the right answer. When many of you are speaking, it is not very clear to me. Okay. Now, in order to understand integrality or the concept of integrality of Alberione, we also need to understand the concept of a person in the mind of Alberione. For Alberione, a person, a human person, is integral because he has three faculties. Which are those three faculties? I myself will answer. Mind, will, and heart. Okay. Okay. So, with all these faculties, a man or a woman becomes complete or integral. So, integral formation also would mean that a man or a woman be formed in his or her mind, will, and heart. Therefore, integrality or the idea of integrality of founder is always associated with the idea of a person, human person. A person is of mind, heart, and will. And therefore, the need to form every aspect of a human person. The mind has to be formed, the heart has to be formed, so also the will has to be formed so that there is equilibrium, there is balance, there is harmonious growth. Father Alberione would say that it is very easy to take care of one aspect or another aspect. But what we need is that of integrality. You can focus on mind, or one person can focus on the heart, or another can focus on the will. That is easier and highly possible. But what we need as Paulines is integrality, balance, harmonious growth of everything. Every faculty of a human being. Okay, now Alberione also, in speaking about integrality, speaks about progressive steps in integral formation. Perhaps you have already studied the progressive steps in integral formation. Let me see if I can share with you a slide. Can see?
Yes, Father.
Okay. So the point that we have shared is this: not generic but specific formation, integrality. Father Alberione's idea of a person, integral formation, that is mind, will, and heart. He also insisted that there is no partial formation but integral, complete. And here we have the picture: mind, will, heart, Pauline formation. Now speaking about the progressive steps in integral formation, which are the steps? Can you hear me?
Yes, Father.
So which are the steps? Can you read?
Human,
Christian, religious, and apostolic.
Okay, so human, Christian, religious, and apostolic formation. Okay. Now, just sharing with you a little bit about what is human formation, what is Christian formation, what is religious formation, and what is apostolic formation. So the formation is integral, harmonious, balanced, and so on. And there is a progressive way of carrying out this formation. And what is the first step? What is the first step? That is the human formation. Okay. In Italian, or in the words of the founder, retto uomo. Retto uomo means
Yes, Father.
right man. It is also retta donna, that is right woman. But a better translation would be the right person, human formation. So that is the first stage. Now, I would like to just list a few characteristics of the right person. Now we are speaking about human formation, not about Christian formation, not about religious formation, not about apostolic formation, but the first step, that is human formation. Now some of the characteristics of human formation as indicated by our founder. Who is the right person? The right person, first of all, is one who thinks and acts uprightly. The first quality of a human person or the right person is one who thinks and acts uprightly. One who is sincere. One who has the value of sincerity, uprightness, righteousness, and so on. Okay. Is it boring? Is it boring?
No, Father. No, Father.
Interesting. Okay. Once there was a sage, a holy man. Okay, this is nothing to do with the charism. Okay, it's only to make it maybe slightly interesting. In the context of the right person, a person who acts righteously or uprightly. Once there was a sage, a holy man, who was traveling with two men. One was greedy, another one was envious. Okay, one was greedy, another one was envious. And as they were traveling, they reached the destination. And that was the place when they were to part with each other. Then the holy man told the other two co-travelers, as a parting gift, I want to give you something. But one condition, the one who asks first will receive what he is asking for. But the second one will receive double of what the first one has asked. You get my point? Okay. So, the greedy man would not make the choice, nor the envious man would make the choice, because the one who makes the second time will get a double. Finally, the greedy man, who was sturdy, he was strong, caught hold of the envious man and said, you make the first choice, otherwise I will kill you. And then he said, okay, I will make the first choice. And he made the first choice. Let me be blind in one eye. What is the result? The other one would get a double. So this is only to indicate the right person. Who is the right person? Only to make it interesting. Eh? Okay. And the second point of a right person, or second characteristic of the right person in the mind of Alberione, is a lover of truth. He or she loves truth. That's what is true. We shall not give more explanation. We'll go ahead. And the third is he or she observes the natural law. A person who observes, keeps the law of the society or the family or the workplace and so on. one who observes or obedient to the natural law. The fourth point of a right person is a person of duty. A person of duty. One who carries out the duty. Duty as a father, duty as a master or a teacher, duty as a soldier, duty as a good professional, duty as a judge or a friend or whatever. One who carries out his duty or her duty is a right person. Alberione was a man of duty. Do you know that? You may have heard many instances or experiences of Alberione when he spoke about duty, and also when he showed himself as a man of duty. In 1952, he went to Spain. Spain is very close to Italy. Okay. So it was his second visit to Spain. And there he was going from Madrid to Barcelona. And he was going by vehicle, by jeep or car. And the driver, he knew the way well, and he also knew the famous localities on the way, like sanctuaries or picnic spots and so on. And the driver also thought that this is the right occasion to show Primo Maestro. You know who is Primo Maestro? You know? Okay. Piety, study, apostolate, and poverty. Okay. Now, Pauline cart would symbolize two things. One is that when you speak about a cart with 4 wheels, it symbolizes two things. One is that of stability. Another one is that of dynamism. Is it clear?
Yes, Father.
Okay. Now, can you think of a cycle with 2 wheels without keeping on the stand to remain stable? Will it remain stable?
No, Father. No.
No. Why? Because there are 2 wheels. Perhaps during the time of the founder, there were in the auto rickshaws with the 3 wheels. They are also stable. But Alberione spoke about 4 wheels because there is stability. There is stability. The vehicle or the car or jeep, whatever, it remains stable. And it has to remain stable in order to move. And therefore, that is dynamism. So, the human formation is identified with this stability, the foundation. You have to remain stable. You have to have the foundation so that there is growth, there is dynamism. You become Christian, you become religious, and you become the apostle. And that is why I said, in the mind of the founder, in the thought of the founder, the human formation had priority. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, Father.
I will just complete this. I will just complete this one very fast, and then give you a few minutes break. The second stage of formation is that of Christian formation. Who is a Christian? You have already in the beginning identified, saying that one who loves one another. By this you will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Okay. So Alberione would say, who is a Christian? Christian is one who keeps the commandment. Christian, see in Vijayawada there is a Christian, so he is saying he is the one. I think he is also keeping the commandment, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. So who is a Christian? Christian formation? The one who keeps the commandment of God. Then secondly, one who keeps the baptismal promises. By the fact that you have entered into the Pauline family is a sign that you have also made baptism. All of you are baptized. Now you know what are the baptismal promises you have made or someone else has made on your behalf. So now it is time as mature persons to keep up those or live up to the baptismal promises. Then, thirdly, who is a Christian? Christian is a person who is faithful to the church. Who is faithful to the church. He's not independent of the church. He is not outside the church, but he is an integral part of the church, inside the church, obedient to the church, observant to the church. You know, Alberione, Father Alberione, Blessed Alberione, he wanted to bring the Pauline family, or he wanted to start the Pauline family also in Rome. Where was the beginning of the Pauline family? Let us say Alba. Alba. Okay. Now Alberione intensely desired that it is
Father, your mic is off, Father. Your mic is off.
okay. Can you hear me? Okay, somebody is putting off my mic, maybe because I am very loud or I am not speaking well. Therefore, it is an indication. Father, speak well. Huh? I do not understand. Whatever be the reason, I speak the way I can. So where are we? Okay. We started in Alba. Alberione wanted that we establish a house also in Rome. You know what are the reasons that Alberione gave?
Yes,
You
Father.
know. The motives are, the reasons are to be at the service of the Holy See, to feel the closeness also geographically or physically. That is, we Paulines need to feel the closeness with the Holy See physically, geographically, and therefore, where is Holy See? Holy See is in Rome, and we also need to be in Rome. Another reason, to receive the doctrine directly from the Holy See. He would say to receive the doctrine, the spirit and apostolic activities directly from the Holy See. And also he would say to send out missionaries to the whole world from Rome. So these are some of the reasons that he gave why we should be establishing ourselves in Rome. Okay? To be at the service of the Holy See, to feel the closeness, to receive the doctrine, spirit directly from the Holy See, and also to send out the Paulines from Rome, the center of Christianity. Just to indicate, he was a man faithful to the church. He never deviated from any of the doctrines of the church. He wanted that we be inserted fully as faithful disciples in the church. And finally, as a Christian, you must follow the gospel. The guiding principle of your life is the gospel. So these are the characteristics of a Christian. Keeps the commandment, keeps the baptismal promises. he or she is faithful to the church, and finally, he or she follows the gospel. And thirdly, the third formation, third stage, that is religious formation, that is you are following the constitutions. You have not studied as postulants, perhaps you have not studied the constitutions. You are going to study the constitutions as novices. Then that becomes the rule of your life. Who is a religious? Religious is a person who will observe or keep the constitutions. And what are the constitutions? Constitutions are the practical applications of the gospel. And as religious, you will be keeping the vows and so on. Okay. And the final stage is that of apostolic formation. That is, apostolic formation entails a preparation to carry out the specific apostolate. In the congregation, we know that study is meant for not for personal benefit, but always for the apostolate. The immediate goal of our preparation, the immediate goal of our study, and also this study, the classes that we have, what is the purpose? What is the immediate purpose? It is not to become intellectual giants, but always for the apostolate, apostolic formation. We are not preparing ourselves for a career. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a professional. No. On the contrary, I want to be a... What do you want to be? Answer me. One.
Pauline.
I want to be a Pauline with a Pauline. With a Pauline. With a Pauline scholar. With a Pauline scholar. Paulinita. Colore Paulino. So those who do not know Italian, please pick up some words from those people who know Italian. There are many sisters and fathers who speak Italian. They know very well. And therefore some words which will help you to imbibe that Pauline spirit, that is Paulinita and Colore Paulino. Okay. So I repeat, your preparation is not to become a professional, not to have a career, but to be a Pauline with the Pauline color. Okay. So the end result of this integral formation is that we become like the master. We become like the master. Now we have spoken about integrality. We have spoken about balance. We have spoken about harmonious development of the person and so on. And we have also spoken about the different stages of formation. What is the end result? What is the goal that we are aiming at? That we become another master. We become like master. That our personality be developed. We reach in the words of the founder, height of our personality. The supreme height of our personality we reach through this integral formation. And therefore, the first characteristic element of a Pauline is our belonging to the family, and the second one is that of integral formation. Every congregation, every institute has a formation, yes, but we as Paulines, as insisted by our founder, our formation is integral. And here you cannot ignore mind, will, and heart. Here you cannot ignore the right person, the right Christian, the right religious, and the apostolic formation. So, as youngsters you are, postulants, think of this. Think of the integral formation. Please don't be one-sided. Please don't be one-sided. Please don't be with one wheel where there is no stability. Let there be stability. It is only on that stable nature the grace can build. This is also said by a founder. On the nature, the grace builds. So what is our nature? The human formation. That is the nature. So be a good, stable human being before you become a religious, before you become a Christian and so on. Okay? Learn to live together, persons of values, persons of courtesy, persons of convictions, sincere person, persons of duty. So think of the characteristics described by our founder. Be that always. And not only during the years of formation, but always. Okay. Now, I give you time. After having completed the second point, I give you some time for some questions. You can also ask questions among yourselves. The daughters of St. Paul can ask. Integrality was one of the important words or frequently used words of Alberione. Similarly, avanti. What is the meaning of avanti?
Go
Forward, ahead. So that was another famous word of Alberione. Or frequently you used to use that. So I think we are all ready. Shall we?
Yes, Father.
Okay. So we have seen 2 points. The one is, the first one is our belonging to the family, our identity as family, and the second one is integral formation. Our formation is integral, total, complete, so that there is a development of the supreme personality of a person, so that we become like Master, we become like Jesus. It is no longer I who think or love or act, but it is always Jesus who does it. Okay. So we go to the next point, that is third element which would distinguish us from other congregations. You have already mentioned that is spirituality. The third element is that of spirituality. We call it Pauline spirituality. Can anybody, if I ask you a question, what is Pauline spirituality? What is your response?
To give Jesus
Master, way, truth, and life through modern means of social communication.
To give Christ,
we truth and life to the world.
only to give Christ.
Not yet.
Okay, before giving.
To honor Mary as Queen of the
Okay. Everyone is there. Jesus is there. Mary is there. Saint Paul is there. Not only giving Jesus Master, but also living Jesus Master. So I will give you a definition. Can you see the? Can you see?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Okay. So this is the definition. One of the definitions I have given.
Jesus Master, way, truth, and
To live integrally the gospel of Jesus Master, way, truth, life, as he is interpreted by Saint Paul under the gaze of Mary, Queen of Apostle. And this definition is taken from Ut Perfectus Ut Homo Dei, first volume 51. It is also seen more or less in the same way, Abundantes Divisiae 93. Only to show the definition. Okay. Now, I'm not going to speak about Pauline spirituality. because that would take we need plenty of time. 1 hour is not enough. 2 hours are not enough. That is an entire course to speak about Pauline spirituality. Sometimes you have already studied something about Pauline spirituality. Anyway, I just want to only highlight in what way it is unique and how founder wanted that it be considered unique. Okay? For Blessed James Alberione, this was something unique. The Pauline spirituality was something unique. To live and to give Jesus Master way, truth, life was something unique. If we ask ourselves, if someone else is asking us, what is our spirituality? We immediately say, our spirituality is Jesus Master way, truth, life. That is right. It is a simplified form. Jesus Master way, truth, life is our spirituality. Pauline spirituality. Okay, perfect. Now, in what way Alberione considered this one as something unique? So, the first point that Alberione would speak about is about the different spiritualities. Okay? In Abundantes Divisiae Gratiae Suae, that is his autobiography, Alberione points out in a brief way different spiritualities. He speaks about Benedictine spirituality, he speaks about Dominican spirituality, he speaks about Salesian spirituality, and so on. He also says that each spirituality is considering one or another aspect of Jesus. You get my point? Benedictine spirituality or Salesian spirituality or Carmelite spirituality, Alberione puts in this way that each one is considering or highlighting or emphasizing one aspect of Jesus. For example, it could be truth, the aspect of truth. It could be the aspect of charity. It could be the aspect of contemplation, and so on. So different spiritualities considering different aspects of Jesus. But Alberione says, in the Pauline spirituality, we have integrality. We don't consider just one aspect of Jesus, the charity aspect of Jesus, no. The truth aspect of Jesus, no. The praying aspect of Jesus, no. The teaching aspect of Jesus, no. But in our spirituality, we consider the integral Jesus. Pauline spirituality takes into account integral Jesus. Pauline spirituality presents integral religion. Pauline spirituality presents integral human being. Pauline spirituality presents integral apostolate. Everything is integral. Everything is complete. Nothing is partial. And Jesus defined himself in different ways. In the Gospels, we find Jesus defining himself in different ways. Can you think of some of the definitions that Jesus gave of himself?
I am the good shepherd. I am the good shepherd.
Okay. So you know, I am the good shepherd, I am the sheep, I am the door, and everything. Okay? So, Jesus is giving different definitions about himself. But Alberione says, when he wanted to give a complete integral definition of himself, he said, what did he say?
Jesus, Master, truth, and life.
No, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus gave different definitions. But when he wanted to give a complete definition of himself, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. In this way, truth, life, you can find everything. Jesus, the teacher, you can find. Jesus who emphasized the truth, we can find. Jesus who is the model, we can find. Jesus who is full of love, we can find in Jesus, Master, Way, Truth, Life. And therefore, this is the integral Jesus. Pauline spirituality gives you the integral Jesus, gives you integral religion, it gives you integral human being. Or it is better to say Pauline spirituality makes you integral because it forms your mind, it forms your heart, it forms your will. Jesus Master, Way, Truth, Life. Now, Way, Truth, Life, they are identified or they are associated with one of the faculties or different faculties of human being. Can you tell me which faculty is associated with way, which faculty is associated with the truth, which is associated with heart? I repeat, Pauline spirituality takes care of the integral aspect of human being, integral formation, which means our mind is formed, will is formed, heart is formed. Jesus, way, truth, life. Now, mind, will, heart, they are associated with one faculty of human being. Which are they? They are reading out from one book. The Vijayawada Postulants, they are reading out from a book. Do you remember? Okay. Truth is associated with mind. Will is associated with what?
Way.
Way. And heart is associated with life. This is only to say that the Pauline spirituality or Pauline method is taking care of the integral aspect of human being, integral human being. Now, I said that I will not be dealing with the Pauline spirituality, but only indicating the importance that founder attributed to the spirituality, this method. According to founder, the method, Way, Truth, Life is not one of the methods. Get me clearly. According to the founder, Way, Truth, Life is not one of the methods. It is not one of the spiritualities, but it is, can you tell me? It is the method. It is the method. I repeat, it is not one of the methods. It is not one of the spiritualities, but it is the method. It is the spirituality. It is the philosophy. It is the moral. That is the stress or emphasis that Alberione gave to this method. For him, this was everything. This is the method. You do not have to follow any other method. You do not have to follow any other spirituality. This spirituality is enough. This method is enough because this is integral. Now, what is this method or what is this spirituality? Alberione would say that this is the concrete way of organizing Pauline life. What is this method? I repeat, this is concrete way of organizing Pauline life. In other words, every level of our life, every aspect of our life has to be organized according to Way, Truth, Life. Your spirituality, your spiritual practices, for example, the rosary that you recite or pray, the mass that you celebrate, the examination of conscience that you have, the meditation that you have, everything has to be according to this Pauline method. The mass that you celebrate is according to Pauline method. The examination of conscience, Pauline method. The apostolate, Pauline method. So, I repeat, this method is a concrete way of organizing every aspect of our life. You indicate any aspect in your life, it has to be according to Alberione based on this method. There is no other method. So, first point, the insistence of Alberione, I have said, this is the method. Then this is concrete way of organizing Pauline life. And the third one, this is the gist of Alberione's teaching. This is the gist. What is the meaning of gist? The summary. The most important element, the gist, the cream of Alberione's teaching. I go fast. Alberione rejoiced over this method. Alberione rejoiced over this method. You cannot find, or you could not find, or the Paulines could not find Alberione always rejoicing, a happy man. That does not mean that Alberione was not happy, but he was a serious man because he was a man on mission. Very seldom we can find Alberione rejoicing, smiling. And one of the occasions or one of the reasons over which Alberione rejoiced is the Pauline method. So rejoiced over that. Another occasion I had shared with the postulants of Vijayawada when I was there till yesterday, day for yesterday. When the daughters of St. Paul went to Susa. Daughters of St. Paul, who are they? Okay, you are there. So, when the daughters of St. Paul, when the daughters of St. Paul went to Susa for the first time, it was in 1920, I believe. They did not have the name daughters of St. Paul, huh? And they were not provost members. And they went there in order to take up the diocesan news weekly named, can the daughters of St. Paul or the postulants of the daughters of St. Paul tell me the name of that weekly? Okay. The name of that weekly was Valsusa. You are getting it from the mistress. So Valsusa. So these people or the daughters, they went there to take up that work, and they were also to take up that press of the diocese. And remember that they went there without any experience. They were youngsters like you, just like you, maybe 1 year of experience or less than that. And they were to take up the responsibility of a press, and they were to produce Valsusa, the diocesan weekly. Alberione asked them, the bishop has asked me to continue to take up this work. Shall we take up? Then the daughters of Saint Paul were unanimous in responding, yes, we will take it up. They said, do you know how they responded? Si, señor teólogo, andiamo. Si, señor teólogo. Si means yes. Señor teólogo, he was known as theologian. Andiamo, we will go. Okay, so they, without any experience, they said yes. And it is said that the first number, within less than a month, they produced the first number of Valsusa, and it was as original as it was before. And that was one of the occasions when Alberione rejoiced. Another occasion I shared, the other occasion I shared with the postulants, that is when they transferred the entire press from Sesto, that is near Milan, to Alba. The boys did it. The boys, like you, the postulants who are just joined, they transferred the entire press from Sesto, that is Milan, to Alba. By themselves. They were not technicians. They were not experts. They did not know how the machines were working. And in spite of that, they did it. Divine providence. And that was one of the occasions when Alberione rejoiced. Okay, so Alberione rejoiced over this method, Pauline method. Then he constantly used this method. I'm speaking about the insistence of Alberione. He constantly used this method of way, truth, life. Everything according to way, truth, life. You read the writings of the founder, there you can find innumerable times Alberione using way, truth, life, mind, heart, will. And that is why I said the gist of Alberione's teaching. If you remove these words, there is no teaching of Alberione. Alberione's teachings become empty without these words. And therefore, he constantly used it. So much so, it is said that it had become a kind of obsession. You know what is the meaning of obsession? Obsession means a kind of sickness. Not perhaps like a corona. He wanted to use it everywhere and everyone. Always. So it had become a kind of obsession. Method. Okay? So much so that he made some of the Paulines to prepare a homily book according to Pauline method, Way, Truth, Life. Homily. A book of homilies based on Way, Truth, Life method. That is something that you can think of. Beautiful. It is not simply Alberione stressed on this point, this method, but if you study well, if you understand well the Pauline spirituality, which we call as Pauline method, you will know that it is really integral. It makes you integral. In it, there is everything. And if you prepare a homily book according to mind, will, heart, you will find that it is really meaningful. It takes care of every aspect. Not just one aspect, stressing one aspect. It could be intellectual. No, it is intellectual aspect. It is moral aspect. It is also the worship aspect. Everything is there. The prayer aspect. So the homily becomes complete. It is not one-sided. It becomes balanced. So that is why I said Alberione had become almost obsessed with this method. And he said that this is useful for all. Another word that he said, it is useful for all, not only for the Paulines, for all. And for Paulines, he said it is a sacred heritage. Sacred heritage. That is a word that you can think of. It's in the Bible or in the Gospel of Matthew, we read about a man finding precious stone or precious pearl. A man finding treasure hidden in the field. Similarly, for Alberione, this was a sacred heritage that is handed over to the Pauline family. This is of great value. This is like a treasure. This is like a fine pearl for Alberione and should be for us too. And then he would say that it is a matter of death and life. For us Paulines, it is a matter of death and life, which means if we accept this method and if we live by this method, we are Paulines. If we are not, if we do not, we are not Paulines. I repeat, if we accept and live by this spirituality or this method, I use the same word for spirituality and method, okay? If we live by this spirituality or this method, you are a Pauline. If you do not live by this method, you are not a Pauline. Therefore, it is a question of life and death for the Paulines. Either you live by it and be a Pauline, or you do not live it and you are not a Pauline. So, a true Pauline means a person who lives by this method. I have said that I have not spoken about this method. I have only spoken about the importance that Alberione attributed to this method. It was a matter of life and death. It is a sacred heritage. It is useful for all. Alberione also wanted that it be spread far and wide. Alberione wanted that this devotion to Jesus Master, Way, Truth, Life, this method, this spirituality be spread far and wide. Not just among the Pauline family or in the Pauline family, everywhere. You know that when a Jesuit goes to preach a retreat or something, that Jesuit priest speaks about Jesuit spirituality. Yes or no? A Salesian goes, he speaks about Don Bosco a lot. But when a Pauline goes to preach, very rarely he or she speaks about Alberione or Alberione's method. This method is a beautiful method. And therefore, where there is an occasion, speak about the Pauline spirituality. If not exclusively speaking only about Pauline spirituality, at least integrate some elements of Pauline spirituality, because it is integral. So he wanted that it be made it known, and for that he wanted to make a university, Pauline Athenaeum, known as Magisterium. He wanted to establish a university called Magisterium. For what? In order to spread this Way, Truth, Life method. He started magazines, Via Verita, Via Verita Vita, that is Way, Truth, Life. For what? In order to spread this doctrine or this spirituality. So this is how Alberione insisted. Then it had been an obsession. He constantly used it. He rejoiced over it, and so on. This is the method. It is a concrete organization of Pauline life. Okay, so you have come to the end of that session. That is Pauline spirituality, which makes you unique. So, belonging to the Pauline family, integral formation, and third one is Pauline spirituality. And these three elements make you unique. And you have to be unique because you have to be a person with a colore Paulino. Okay? Okay. Now the fourth element, I have 2 or 3 more, but I will end with this fourth one. The fourth element is that of Pauline spirit, And the fifth element I wanted to deal with was that of pact. Pact is secret of success. So now we go to the fourth point, that is Pauline spirit. I shall try to finish by 6:30. Okay, we shall not do prolong. Okay. Can you see me? Or not see me? See in the screen? Hello, can you see the screen?
Yes, Father.
Okay. So this is Pauline spirit. Now you may not see me, you see the screen so that we can be faster. The fourth element that distinguishes the Pauline from others is the spirit of the members. Okay. Now to give a context, in 1960, Alberione conducted
Yes,
an
Father.
Alberione conducted a retreat, an extraordinary retreat, and during that retreat, he said that the Pauline family is now completed. He mentioned the congregations, he mentioned the institutes, he mentioned the association, and then he said, these are his words, as you see on the screen, must be one spirit, that which is in the heart of Saint Paul, cor Pauli, cor Christi. Pauline spirit is intended to represent, again you see it in the screen, intended to represent and live Saint Paul today, thinking, pursuing, praying, and sanctifying as Saint Paul would if he were to live today. Saint Paul lived the two precepts of love for God and neighbor in such a perfect way to show himself the same as Christ. Christ lives in me. Okay, so same spirit, Pauline spirit, no matter you belong to the daughters of Saint Paul, no matter you belong to the pious disciples of the Divine Master. Pious disciples of the Divine Master, what is your spirit? Pious, you tell me what is your spirit? Hello? What is your spirit? The pious disciples of the Divine Master.
To live and give Christ.
No, the spirit. Not your spirit is that of Saint Paul. Okay.
Yes.
Read this one. Cor Pauli, cor Christi. Must be one spirit, that which is in the heart of the heart of Paul. So your spirit is the spirit of Saint Paul, that which is in the heart of Saint Paul. Not in Jesus, not in Mary, not in anyone else. Okay? Of course, Paul lived Jesus' master way, truth, life. That is another thing. But here I am just stressing the point. Our spirit is that of Saint Paul. No matter you belong to Society of Saint Paul, no matter you belong to the Sisters of the Good Shepherd, no matter your past disciples, your spirit is that of Saint Paul. You can never say Saint Paul is for Society of Saint Paul and Daughters of Saint Paul because they have the name Saint Paul. No. The spirit of the entire Pauline family is that of Saint Paul, Pauline spirit. You have to be Saint Paul living today. You have to be another Saint Paul. And what are the reasons? The motives that unites us. Why we have only one spirit? That is The first point, I am just sharing the screen. You can see the screen, no? Dear friends, can you see the screen?
Yes, Master.
So, there you go. So one is common origin, the motives for one spirit. We have common origin. The Pauline family was born from the tabernacle. And as I have said earlier, Alberione more than one occasion said that Pauline family was born 40 years ago. Pauline family was born 48 years ago. The light of the Spirit was already lit in 1914. So your spirit, maybe daughters, maybe pious, your light was already lit from the very beginning, 1914, because we have common origin. The development of each congregation took place during the time of history, but the spirit was from the beginning, common origin. Then we have a second point, converging ends. That is, the Pauline family must portray in the church Jesus Master in the three dimensions of way, truth, life. Father Alberione wishes that every institute of the Pauline family, every congregation of the Pauline family prefigures Jesus, way, truth, life. And therefore we have converging ends, scope, purpose. Then, as we have seen, 3, common spirituality, which we have already seen. The fourth reason, we have one spiritual founder. Who is the founder? Alberione said that everyone should consider Saint Paul as the founder, Saint Paul as the mother, as the father, as the example, as the model, and everything. He is father, he is mother, and so on. So who is the spiritual founder of the Pauline family? It is Saint Paul. It is Alberione used to say that Saint Paul founded it with a spiritual intervention as well as physical intervention. I repeat, Saint Paul established the Pauline family, not just with spiritual intervention alone, but also with a physical intervention, which a founder himself was not able to explain. He said that Saint Paul physically almost forced that this family be established. So, another motive for one spirit, spiritual founder, that is Saint Paul. And then we have the last one, that is the instrumental founder, that is Alberione. Who is the founder and the only founder of the Pauline family? It is James Alberione. No other founder. Nobody else can get that name as founder, only Alberione. And this instrumental founder, James Alberione, is another motive for one spirit, that is Pauline spirit, the spirit that is in the heart of Saint Paul. Then the next point, that is insistence of Primo Maestro. Primo Maestro said that Paul became form for each one of us. Who is the original? Jesus is the original. Paul became form. And we have to form ourselves according to the form who is Paul, or which is Paul. Now it is like we make a statue in a mold. The pious disciples will be able to understand that one better, and everybody is able to understand. That is, a statue is made in a mold. Similarly, who is our mold? Saint Paul is our mold, and we have to form ourselves according to that mold, according to that form. And Alberione would say that with regard to identity, as for Pauline family, the Paulines are children of Paul, and children must always walk after the example of their father. And therefore, it is a question of identity. If we have to be real, genuine Paulines, we have to follow the spirit of Paul. So it is a matter of identity. Secondly, it is a matter of spirit. As for the spirit, the Paulines must propose to represent and leave Paul as he would if he lived today. So we are Saint Paul alive today. Okay? We have to have that spirit. Then Alberione again would say, as for virtue or virtues, values, we must imitate Saint Paul. Saint Paul was model of all virtues. So we must imitate Paul in his virtues. Again, we must imitate Paul in his organization, which means Paul was a man who was well organized. And this invitation to imitate Paul or to assume the spirit of Paul, it is an invitation from Paul himself, because Paul has said, be imitators of me as I am of Christ. That is a general invitation for everyone. But for us Pauline, it is a particular invitation, because we are sons and daughters. It will safeguard our identity, as I already mentioned. It is only by living that spirit of Paul we give true testimony to the people around. Founder would say that Pauline spirit is the best spirit. Founder also would say that if we assume the Pauline spirit, we are well prepared to carry out the apostolate. So these are the motives and insistence of Alberione for assuming the Pauline spirit. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay. So to speak about the Pauline spirit. Once Alberione called one of the Pauline from the Society of Saint Paul. His name was Sekin, and Alberione wanted Sekin to go to Mexico and establish the Pauline family there. His usual way of doing is this: a member from the Society of Saint Paul, in the beginning, the history, a member from the Society of Saint Paul would go and he would start a house in one of the nations, and then he would take daughters of Saint Paul, pious disciples, and members of the other congregations and institute, so that the Pauline family can be established. This is how he used to do. Okay. Now Sekin was called to go to Mexico, and founder said, now go and meet Jacardo. Jacardo will identify 2 more persons who will come with you to Mexico. And after a few days, these people found that going to Mexico was impossible, because the Mexican government would not accept any missionary for any activity. Documentation was not possible. They had presented their request for the visa, and it was outrightly denied. So after this event, when founder met Sekim, he said, what spirit do you have? If you really have Pauline spirit, you would get into a flight, into a plane that would go over Mexico, and when the flight goes over Mexico, you would take a parachute and jump down to the territory where there would be no people in Mexico, and would continue with your missionary activities there. He said, you will, as a clandestine, which means without permission, would get into the flight and fly, and when the flight reach over Mexico, would take the parachute and come down and begin your ministry there. We do not know whether Alberione said it jokingly or seriously, but it is only an indication of a Pauline spirit. If you have Pauline spirit, if you have that enthusiasm, You will do it. You will find if there is a will, there is a, if there is a will, there is a
Way.
way. That is Pauline spirit.